Don't let us out. They're coming to take us away.
All right, final chapter of the podcast. You're almost through it, folks. You're almost through it. You're almost there. Okay, so I got to talk about this because it's just the only thing on my mind right now. Well, not the only thing, but I got to talk about Helloween. Hey, there we go. This is where I start losing everyone. Everyone starts, well, I don't really need the rest of the podcast. I guess I could just move on. No, listen, Helloween is just, listen, you got to understand how epic right now is for this band, okay? So you have to understand they are the godfathers of power metal. And again, for those of you who don't know all the different genres of metal, like every kind of music, there's different forms of every kind of music. And the kind of music that I like, obviously, is I would call symphonic power metal. It's music where you can actually understand the lyrics. It's epic. It's got orchestras. It's harmony. But it's just such an epic thing. If you listen to my last one, you really understand what I meant. And maybe I'll play one of the most epic songs I've ever heard at the end of this thing. But yeah, so they got started in the 80s, and it was just a four-person band, bassist, guitarist, drummer, and a singer who also played guitar. So there were like three guitarists and a drummer, right? They make like 2 albums, and this lead singer, due to the complexity of the kind of music that they're playing, is having kind of a difficult time playing guitar and singing. So they need to get a singer, okay? And I'll never forget this. It turns out that they needed, quote, we need somebody like Jeff Tate from Queensryche. And this is where we met the singer Michael Kiske, who is my favorite singer of all time. I do believe that. Oddly enough, his years with Helloween, I don't think they were that good. I know I can get crucified for saying something like that, but anyway, let me finish what I'm saying here. So he's in the band. They make 4 albums, right? But after the second one, the guitarist who previously was the lead singer, he bails. He decides to leave. And that's huge because he was a major player in the writing. But he just didn't want to be in the band anymore, and he left. And they got this other guy, what's his name? Roland, I think his name was. But anyway, they make 2 more albums, and they are 2 of the worst albums ever put out by any band. Well, maybe not as bad as Kiske's solo albums. Those are bad. But anyway, after that second failed album by Helloween, Michael Kiske decides to leave. So now you got Kai Hansen, who was the guitar player and singer, who left, and you got Michael Kiske, who's gone. Leaving just these 2 guys, right? The drummer dies, right? I think he died earlier on. So the drummer, both singers and the drummer gone. So just these 2 guys. They kind of have to reinvent the band, okay? They get a new drummer, and they get a singer named Andy DeReese. This is where I start to like Helloween, okay? I love not just the writing that DeReese brought to the table, but I love just his voice. It's very dark and it's growly, but not in the annoying way. Like he's got a great voice. It's just a little bit more brutal, than Kiske's voice, which was very clean and very epic and operatic, honestly. So they go through a lot of changes. My favorite album by them is an album called The Dark Ride. I think it's just beginning to end a dark masterpiece that just check it out if you're a metal person. It's really great. It is arguably a low point in the band's career. But it happens to be my favorite album. So you know what? Your ratings and your critics, you can go. Well, you know what I was going to say. I was trying to keep this clean. I was about to say something really vulgar to the people who don't like The Dark Ride. Anyway, deal with it! Okay. So So the years go on. The band finally finds themselves in the early 2000s. You know, they've come back, and now they're obviously very, very, very successful. Well, get this. I've seen them a bunch of times in concert because they're great. I just absolutely love their music. I can't get enough of it. There's actually a picture of me. I took a shameful selfie in a bathroom mirror. You know how crappy that is, you know? Hey, look at me. I'm going to take a picture of me. Can't stand selfies. Oh, God, I do them sometimes, but I hate it. Anyway, I just needed to capture how happy I was at this concert. I went to the, what was it called? It was called the Best Buy Theater or something like that. It was right in Times Square in Manhattan. I went to see Helloween, and I was just so genuinely happy to be there that I couldn't stop smiling. So it's like I was in the bathroom, and I just took a picture of me in the mirror, just legitimately being so happy to be there. It's amazing. Anyway, moving on. On the other end of the spectrum, Michael Kiske winds up getting together with Kai Hansen to create this separate band called Unisonic. And I'm excited because Michael Kiske's got a great metal voice, yet he's like not wanted to do metal ever since Helloween. I guess it left a bad taste in his mouth, whatever. He just didn't want to do it, right? But you know, summing this up very, very, you know, like I'm skipping a lot of years and details here. But anyway, he decides to form this band with Kai Hansen. It's a metal band. I'm like, wow, Michael Kiske's back in the metal scene. This is awesome. And it was great. They made 2 albums, and they're amazing. Well, earlier, a couple years, 2 years ago, earlier, I think, 2019, 2018, somewhere around there, it's announced, right, that Michael Kiske will be joining Helloween for a giant united tour. And not just Michael Kiske, but Kai Hansen as well. So you got Kai Hansen and Michael Kiske, the original guitarist and bassist, all coming back together for this big Helloween reunion tour. And I am just crapping my pants. I'm like, oh! Like, I'm so excited because I was too young when Kiske was in the band originally. I was single digits. I was like 8 or 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, you know, when they were, you know, in their peak. And so I'm so happy about this. And I'm excited. I get together with my friend Chris, and we go see them. They toured New York, and we got to see them. I was so blown away by this show. Seeing Kiske in concert with his original band was just such an honor for me. I was so happy. And again, you couldn't get the smile off my face. I was so happy that when they announced that they were doing a second show due to popular demand, I bought a ticket for that one too, and I saw them 2 nights in a row because I was so thrilled. Listen, you might be listening to me going, Ross, you're so pathetic, but you don't understand. Like, there are some people who experience happiness on different levels. Sometimes it's family, and sometimes it's material things. Sometimes it's, you know, whatever. But I really, really got a real sense of euphoria and just pure happiness by seeing this band. So if you don't like metal, at least appreciate that I was happy, okay? I mean, I am happy, but that really, you know, that was something else, man. But it gets better. So I find out that not only did they join the band on tour for a big reunion tour, but they are now permanent fixtures in the band. Like, they're back. Kiske and Kai Hansen are now back in the band permanently. They had such a great time with the band that they decided to just keep going with it. And guess what's coming out in 7 days from the moment I'm recording this? By the time you are listening to this, it is already out there, folks. It has already been out, and I am already probably dead of being too happy. But at this moment, the anticipation of the album, it comes out on June 18th. And again, if you're listening to this, it's probably out already because I think I dropped this somewhere in the first week or 2 of July. Okay, so exciting, so exciting. And they dropped this single just about 2 weeks ago. They've dropped 2 singles from the album now, and one of them is called Fear of the Fallen. And I'm going to end the podcast with this, and also, something really inspirational that my dad actually put on Facebook. Yeah, it's all going to tie together, okay? So this song is called Fear of the Fallen, and what I really like about it is they keep whispering the word decide. Okay, now, quick disclaimer. The first time I heard this song, I went, that was pretty good. But then every time I listened to the song after that, I just fell more and more in love with it. And now it's just, could be the greatest song of 2021. Honestly, it really could. So if you're going to listen to it, at least give it a couple of chances and understand where it's coming from and the harmony, because both lead singers are singing and they're harmonizing off each other, and it's great. And the message that they're saying in the song is wonderful, And it's pretty much saying, is this what your life is? Is this how you're going to, is this it? You know what I mean? Like, you have the opportunity to just decide what you want to do. Now, obviously, I'm interpreting it one way, and it could go another way, but, and I'm not quite sure what their particular inspiration for the song was, but I took it like this. No matter what's going on, okay, in your life, you can change. I mean, it's that easy. 3, 2, 1, change. I mean, it's that easy. Granted, I think men have a little bit more of an advantage there because we have the ability to do that. Men have this amazing, not all men, most men, and I'm not saying that all women don't. Some women do. God, these disclaimers. Anyway, typically, for instance, I can turn off my emotions. I don't know if I've been able to do that since birth or if it's something I've learned. But I can make decisions and I can just snap out of things. Like, things don't bother me anymore. I mean, some things do, like the sun beaming in through the visors. God. Anyway, or the old people driving, or, people who don't put their picture in their profile picture, and I can't find you. I've been looking for you for 20 years, and I can't find you because there's 1 million people in the country that have your same name, and I can't see your freaking picture. Anyway, the song... The song is just about deciding, is this, you know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here and read the lyrics, but I'm going to play the song, and I need you. Geez, I'm sounding like a beggar here. No, just, I love it. And, I'm going to compare it to little kids. Okay, yes. Ross, how do you compare metal to little kids? So, when a little kid's running around and they trip and they fall, right? Like, right? And there's that moment between the fall and however they decide to react, where that's just it. They are deciding how to react in that second, in that 2 seconds. When a little kid falls and he falls on his face, and the parent or the person there, like myself or a dad or an uncle, goes, oh, are you okay? Are you okay? That energy immediately causes the kid to, and then it's over, right? But if the kid falls and you go, whoops, or you go, or something, the kid starts laughing, right? I'm not saying it does it every time. I'm just saying I've seen it. I've seen both things happen, where your reaction to what happens to that kid can immediately, transfer an energy that makes that kid decide how they're going to react, right? The kid decides how to react. Maybe not intentionally, maybe subconsciously at that age, but they decide. And as adults, conscious of this, we can do the same thing. Okay, so no matter what's happening, whether your car is on fire, your backup car doesn't work, you're running out of money, there's an old person driving 10 miles below the speed limit right in front of you, the sun is beaming through the freaking crack in the visor, which is a 1,000,001 chance. Laugh it off. It's one of the wonderful things about having a human brain. We can decide not to react negatively. Back in 2008, I was working at KB Toy Store in Long Island. And one day we just had a really, really bad day. It was just the truck was gigantic. We didn't have any room. I didn't have enough staff members. I was piling boxes behind the register counter. It was a disaster. My boss comes in coincidentally that one day, and she's not happy. Now, I wasn't happy either, but I didn't go, I just said, well, I just reacted, like, okay, well, we'll fix it. And she was just so upset that I wasn't upset. So, you know what? She obviously didn't have the ability that I'm talking about, So listen, if you're overweight, freaking decide to change, right? If you're too thin, my God, eat a donut, right? Just you decide what to do, right? I'm not trying to lecture y'all here. I'm just saying that's what the song's about. And I just love it. It's just a great message. And, I recently have had something to think about in my world lately. And I was thinking about what to do. So I'm working this job right now that doesn't really pay all that well, but I really like it. Like, I really, really, really like the job, and I like the people who I work with, but the money's been a little rough, right? And, I'm okay. Everyone's all right. It's just not what it was before, and it's like, Another opportunity has kind of come around, and it's more money, but I know I'm not going to like the job as much. Right? And that's always a tough call, trying to balance between, good money and a job that you love. Now, I had posted this on Facebook recently, and you all were very, the answers were kind of different, but all of you seem to kind of be, going toward, the job that I love versus the job that I want because of the money, right? But my dad sends over this quote, which is it was just perfect. It was just 100% wisdom. And I'm going to read it right now. And he writes, "The truth is that most jobs are unlovable, but necessary. We have been misled into thinking that if we do not love our job, that we have failed. The secret is this: to be happy, if you don't love what you are doing, you need to love why you are doing it. It could be family, money, a cause, or anything." Tell me truer words haven't been spoken, right? That is just, I'm 41 years old and my dad continues to impress me. Like, that's just, what a wonderful quote. And I have clarity in the situation now. More to come on that in the future, but that was just wonderful. That being said, I present to you the song by the newly reformed and reunionized, if that's a word, Helloween, Fear of the Fallen.